She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as she stays with me. She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as I stay clean. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Gaming Matter and Royal Rumble 2000. Interesting show, and I didn't really keep up as much from school and whatever, but I did try to do my best to keep up with the show. Well, WWF, I mean, but I did watch it a few times in 2000, so yeah, Royal Rumble was good. And I mean, it's one of those things too where I was like, Steve Austin wouldn't be in the company for a while due to the thing in the Survivor Series of 99, and so it was mostly The Rock who was the face of the company at the time, and then of course you had the Big Show, and then yeah, it was actually a really good show. And I mean, a lot of these guys, Hall of Famers, a lot of them still working. So yeah. Match on Sunday Night Heat, so I don't remember that. But you had your match here with Taz and Kurt Angle, and this was the German Suplex City, bitch. Like, I mean, these two guys really beat the shit out of each other. And I think around this time, too, you had Taz, who was still the ECW champion. And he lost it a little while later. But it was one of those things where it was like, you look at these two, yeah, German suplexes, you have action on the outside, and then you have Taz do the submission hold of Taz Mission and winning the match. You had the point where you have the EMTs coming in, and they would put the oxygen on Kurt Angle, which kind of interesting. They made it that big of a deal at the time of the Taz Mission, making, obviously, the human suplex machine the most dangerous wrestler in WWF at the time. And I mean, this was still when ECW was a thing. Obviously, as I said, Taz was still the ECW champion, but yeah, this was Girl Take Team Tables match. Say that 5 times fast. You've got the Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys. This was a good match, and I mean, these two were classic take team matches in WWF, also along with Edge and Christian. But these two guys, I think the highlight was, I think it was Devon, maybe. Could have been Bubba on a table. You have Jeff going on top of whatever that was, the guardrail, well, not the guardrail. Anyways, he jumped off the Swanton Bomb. He did that. This was pretty cool. The Hardys picked up the win, which was surprising because tables were the Dudleys' specialty. And I mean, you look at their TLC match and SummerSlam, and then of course you go on to WrestleMania 17. this was a very good match, and I think these two guys, like I said, around the Attitude Era, definitely take teams that we still talk about to this day. So obviously the match for the undisputed Intercontinental Championship. You got Chris Jericho, who took on China. He took on Hardcore Holly. Now this was interesting because for some reason we had Chris Jericho as the Intercontinental Champion, but also you had China with the title. So I honestly can't remember how this fucking happened, but I do know that a couple months prior, China did beat Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental title. And then she formed an alliance with Chris Jericho. Chris turned on her. Somehow this happened. Hardcore Holly was involved. So that was pretty cool. Then, these three competitors pulled out all the stops. And I mean, this was interesting to see who was going to go out on top. Maybe Hardcore Holly would be the Intercontinental Champion, but that never happened. And somehow Chris pulled it off, becoming the undisputed IC champion, which obviously to this day he won it a bunch more times. And if he ever did come back, would he? Well, I mean, he probably wouldn't because of the shit that he's under right now, but it's still one of the biggest, streaks, reigns, I guess, as many reigns as the Intercontinental Championship had with someone. So, and I mean, China becoming the first female Intercontinental Champion was groundbreaking in itself. The F Take Team Championships, you have the New Age Outlaws, who defeated the Acolytes, and I mean, the Acolytes tried. It's one of those things where you think, okay, who's the better team? And obviously, Billy Gunn hit the Famouser for the win. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they had other matches where the Acolytes won, but interesting match. I mean, two very different styles, and I mean, Brian is the guy who basically is still in the company backstage. Billy Gunn, who is still wrestling to this day at 60 years old, and all elite. For the WWF title. And so this match kind of came about. You have the whole thing with SummerSlam, which was bullshit, and no, I talked about that. Mankind said he didn't want to face Triple H at the Royal Rumble. He said he knew somebody who was violent, more brutal, more bloodthirsty. And then he takes off the Mankind mask and he unbuttons the Mankind striped shirt, revealing Cactus Jack. Now, I knew they had a match in 97. I knew that he was around in 97. In 98. You know that I didn't know he was working in Japan at the time, but I definitely knew ECW. So, I mean, they were going to wrestle in a street fight. So this match was actually really cool. And I mean, barbed wire bats, you have blood, you have a lot of cool shit. There was a point where Cactus Jack was talking smack out in the entranceway to Triple H, and out comes The Rock. And so, I mean, this was pretty cool. And you know, Stephanie somehow got involved. But you automatically knew that Triple H retained the title, which would go on to No Way Out in a steel cage. And Triple H won that. And it was almost like, why couldn't Cactus win? And I even thought that too. Fuck, what was I? 16? No, I was 15 years old. And I thought, what the fuck? Like, seriously, why couldn't Mankind, Cactus Jack, whoever McFoley was, Mankind was the champion, so why couldn't Cactus Jack be the champion? And that's kind of was, you know, thinking about this now, like, why couldn't he win the title here and lose it at No Way Out, ending his career, right? But yeah, Triple H won, so it is what it is. And then you have the Royal Rumble. Now this was pretty cool. I mean, you have Rikishi and Viscera who faced off, which I thought was awesome. Now, back then, I thought The Rock and Big Show tumbled out of the ring, counting them both as the winner, which I thought was pretty stupid. But then I realized that it was The Rock that actually won. But then Paul White would get into the ring and beat the shit out of The Rock, or try to. And then The Rock whipped his ass, and yeah, there it is. So, I mean, this was a really good show, and I think that you look at The Rock, who basically was the guy, was the face of the company, and unfortunately, WrestleMania 2016 was a shit WrestleMania, in my opinion, one of the shit WrestleManias. But this was a good Royal Rumble, and I mean, you look at Kurt Angle, who had, I think it was his second or third match, at least his second pay-per-view in WWF. And then, of course, Taz. And then you have, you know, two of the best tag teams in the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys. But it's a really good show. And yeah, talk to you later. Bye.